Hi,
How was
Michelle.
that?
Hello, Michelle. Welcome, welcome. We're going to give people some time. We have a couple of folks. Let me check my email again because I never know. Oh, let me
Okay.
ask you guys this. So when I sent the email link, did it show up in like your regular email thingamajiggy? Okay, good. I'm always afraid it's going to go to spam and people are going to be like, "Hey, Javon," and people are going to be like, "Oh my God, I didn't get your email. I didn't have any." They wouldn't sound like that, but that's my impersonation. That's my impersonation of anybody. Quite frankly. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm having such a great day today. I don't know why I always have to make it sound like that. Anyways, tell me what attracted you, well, we'll give it a few more minutes. What attracted you? And then I'm going to start, which I never start on time because I'm one of those people that's always late, but I'm tired and I want to go to bed. So I'm just gonna be real. What attracted you to coming to this workshop? Besides the fact that it's free, that's a great, I mean, for me at least, I'm like, oh, it's free. Let me do it. You have to unmute yourself. You have to talk. Somebody's gonna call your name if you, okay, there you go. Right, Christina.
Brittany,
Yes.
you may not remember this, but I think it was last year I met you at a pop-up at somewhere in Mount Washington Village. Susanna sent me your way when I was
I remember now. I
on
sure
like
do.
month 4 of being sick, and you made some little tea for me, and
Yeah, that was at the painting
um,
workshop. It's not there anymore. There's an
yes.
apothecary that's going to be there.
I
Actually,
didn't know it moved.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The
so
owner of the painting workshop moved. But anyways, I'll tell you guys
okay.
about that later because it's
Yeah.
actually related to this conversation. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was such a positive experience,
oh
and so
yay,
I thought I'd check it out.
yay! What about you, Javon? You're next.
Okay, hi. Thanks for hosting this.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll be able to come to the one next week, but so that's part of the reason why I was like, oh, let me join now.
sure.
Um, I am here because I've been like super deep in the Lunar New Year. Oh, it's actually a mural. I painted it. Thank
She's an
you.
artist. Javon is an artist, you guys. Just
Yeah.
FYI. Excellent one.
I've been super into like the upcoming Lunar New Year and like information that's just been coming my way and um the Chinese zodiac um pinpoints the heart as like one of the organs in focus during this year. And so
Nice
like there's a
information.
lot of like recommendations to like take really good care of your body and take especially good care of your heart this year. Um,
Mm,
so I was like, oh, well, this feels like good timing. Like the Lunar
yeah,
New Year is next week, and
I planned it that way.
I'm sure.
No, I actually
I
did. I
didn't
did
have
not at
any
all.
doubts.
I did.
I didn't have any
I
doubts
had no
at
idea.
all.
Thank you for now. I can say that for next week. That's what I'll say in my
Yeah, yeah,
next
yeah. Perfect.
week.
So anyway, that's why I'm here. So
Awesome.
happy to be learning more stuff today.
Awesome. Pam, what about you? I'm calling everybody out. If you are able to unmute, if you're not, no worries. I get it. If you've got like dogs or kids or cats screaming in the background, I get it. That might
Okay.
happen here.
Hi, I'm Pam, and
Hi.
glad to be here. And I took a mocktail class at Martha's a Little Apothecary. It was
Oh,
wonderful.
yes.
Yeah. So when I saw this workshop, I was like,
Why
just
not?
a little like pick me up for this winter, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be here.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Michelle, right? What about you? Oh,
If
there
I
we
could
go.
get my mute off. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm actually Pam's sister,
Oh,
and
cool.
she gave me your link because we are always interested in herbs and how they work with everything in your body. So I was just interested to hear about it.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. That's great. Well, welcome you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Some of you are coming in at the end where I'm usually am not an on-time type of person and I ramble. I'm going to try and be quick and not ramble as much, mainly because I'm tired. So I'm ready for bed. It's 6:05. I'm ready to go to sleep. But welcome. I'm gonna get you guys with some expectations about this. This is just a free mini class. I call this like the appetizer. Next week is called heart work, and that's the entree. But this is an entry, level, just kind of a little dip your toe in the pool to see like what the temperature is. Um, some disclosures, I am an educational and clinical herbalist. So what that means is I educate, like what I'm doing now. I do stuff in person. I teach all kinds of workshops, whether it's a cocktail mocktail one. It could be stuff like this, or for your heart. Last month, I did your herbs for your nervous system. I do stuff like hormonal regulation. I do pop-ups all over in Baltimore City, and around. I've done some outside of Baltimore City as well. And clinical means I see clients. I've been working with herbs pretty much all of my life, all of my adult life, ever since I was in college. Um, and that is about me. What I am not is a medical doctor, so I don't diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent disease. This is for educational purposes only, blah, 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 all that good stuff for you guys. Um, I also talk a mile a minute. I say this almost every workshop, so there's no slowing me down. So if you have questions, please feel free to interrupt me. I do not mind being interrupted. I interrupt myself all the time. If you want me to repeat something or whatever, that's fine. You could pop it in the chat. You could unmute yourself. Go for it. I do not mind it at all. Please feel free to ask questions. I think questions are a really important part, and don't worry about saving them till the end. Because we all will forget, and you're like, I know I was going to say something. Yeah, just go ahead and interrupt, because sometimes that could lead to, an interesting conversation or whatever. So I'm gonna have you guys, you could put it in the chat, or you could unmute and shout it out. But what have you been dealing with? What has your heart been dealing with? What are you feeling? Do you feeling stress? Is it feeling tight? Is it racing? Is it heavy? Is it numb? Do you not feel anything at all? But you're like, well, I know I need to pay attention to my heart. Did the doctor tell you something that you should be aware of? Like, what are some of the things that you are feeling with your heart? Just go for it now.
I've had like random flutters recently, which
Hmm.
is always unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's top of mind. I was like, oh, the Chinese people are telling me to pay attention. My
I
heart
feel
is doing random
flutters.
stuff. I need to pay attention.
I love those signs, the ambiguous signs, which is better than an in your face sign, because an in your face sign might be worse than this is like the beginning, so that's good. Anybody else want to just quickly say, oh, this is what I've been feeling, or
I've been feeling anxious,
anxious,
and so my heart has been pounding a
palpitation?
little bit more.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Anyone else?
Grief, for sure.
Grief. Mm, mm, yeah. So I like to, so that's funny, because not funny. That is not funny. What I meant to say is it's more ironic in the sense of like we're talking about your emotional heart. So Susanna, you mentioned grief, and your physical heart. Javon, and Michelle, you mentioned flutters and palpitations, right? So it's an emotional and physical response to what's going on with our heart. I will say though, that on the personal side, why I'm so interested in heart health is heart issues run in my family. Like my mom had a heart attack, my grandmother had a heart attack, my aunt had a heart attack, and I literally I almost always think I'm having, that's like my first thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I pulled a chest muscle, but I'm clearly having a heart attack. Or, I'm doing this. Oh no, actually that's a panic attack, or whatever it could be. The sun is shining. Oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. Right. That so I'm always focused and thinking about heart health as one of the number one thing that's kind of on my mind when I think about health for myself. And I'll get into some other reasons why in a minute. But so we all know, like, we don't know. I'm going to tell you what we're gonna, what you're gonna know pretty soon. And that is, what is heart health? Like, what is that? what does that even mean, right? And we all know that there's our heart that's, that we have that pumps out blood, and it's an organ, and it's involved with circulation, right, of our blood. But we also know that it has to do with our blood pressure, but also things like stress load and inflammation and proper sleep and a daily rhythm. All that is encompasses what your heart health is. And then, of course, there's stress, which that impacts your heart greatly. This is one of the things that I think about often when I think about the silent killer. I'm sure we've all heard that through time. Stress is the silent killer, and it changes the way that we breathe. It changes the way that we feel tension in our muscles and in our body. Stress changes your heart rate. It changes the way that the blood moves in your body, right? So stress is a huge impact on our heart. And so this is one of the things that I was mentioning earlier. I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely stressed. Just in general, I'm one of those anxious people. And so I'm always thinking about, I shouldn't say always, that sounds like, very doomsday, but I think a lot about how is stress, whether it's just regular stress or exaggerated or a lot of stress, is impacting my heart. And it's not something that it's usually not something that's acute right away. This is something that builds up over time. So your support has to happen over time. You can't just be like, oh, well, now after, X amount of years, let me start paying attention to my heart. Or now, I mean, you can, but it's often better. Preventative is better, right? Um, and then there's circulation, right? So our heart is a delivery system. It's delivering oxygen, it's delivering nutrients, it's delivering hormone signals, and this is movement, right? Movement that's going on within our blood, and our veins and everything like that, and our vessels. Um, and when you have stagnation with your blood, right, that also can lead to challenges. So when your circulation is supported, then your whole system runs a lot smoother. So there are a couple things. I'm going to kind of do a macro, then a micro, then a macro, then a micro in terms of how we're kind of looking at this. So that's the big picture, right? And some really quick things that you guys can do to kind of have like a heart reset is, it takes 60 seconds, and not even that, is just a breathing exercises. And not like, don't, I'm not talking about sit down for 20 minutes and do all that. I mean, that's great. If you have the time to do that, then do it. But throughout the day, just put your hand on your heart, take an inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. Do that a couple times, and you'll be surprised how quickly that will bring down a stress level, right? How quickly that could just kind of give yourself a reset. Another one that I really like is what I call the audible sigh. Sometimes people do it unknowingly, right? It's just the right? Actually doing that, yeah, right. I'm watching you breathe in, Pam. Like it makes a difference. And so if you do that intentionally, like sometimes we do it unintentionally, we don't even realize. We're like, oh God, I can't believe, that kind of thing, right? But if you actually are conscious and aware and do it intentionally, you will feel your shoulders drop. You will feel some of that stress come out. Like, and this means like, audible. You have to be able to hear it, because that is the release of breath and tension in your body. So those are something that really quickly that you can do. We'll get into some other little micro rituals, things that so that's your um the stress on your heart. Those are some really good resets for stress on your heart. Some good resets for circulation that are just micro rituals. Take a walk after a meal. 10 minutes, even 5 minutes. Walk around the block, walk around your house. That movement is not only you're moving your body, which is good for your digestion, it's good for a whole bunch of other things, but it's also good for your circulation to get moving. Try it just after one meal, one time a week, and see, how you feel afterwards. Get a warm cup of tea. It can even be water. Warmth is something that is really beneficial, again, to your circulation. So those are some quick resets that you can do. But now let's dig into or expand a little bit more on what I was talking about earlier in terms of what heart health is, right? It's not just your cholesterol, it's not just your blood pressure or your doctor's visit that you're hopefully going to once a year. I'm definitely not, but I should be, and so should you. Um, It's also how your heart is responding to the stress. It's how the blood is moving throughout your body. It's your vessel tone. It is your elasticity of what's going on in your veins. It's your nervous system and how it's influencing your heart. So stress is not some abstract thing. It's a physiological response that your body is having, right? And your heart responds to how you live, not just what you're measuring in terms of numbers of, oh, my blood pressure is this, or my triglycerides were this, or my HDL is this, and all that stuff. Those are indicators, but what you're doing every day is what gives you those numbers. And so stress is showing up for you, and how stress and your circulation shows up on a daily basis is stuff like a tight chest, shallow breathing, cold hands and feet. So that speaks to circulation, right? Fatigue that doesn't match effort, right? So I've had a very long day today. I've been up since like 5:15. So me being like, I'm gonna try and hurry up so I can get to bed, that matches the effort that I've had throughout the day. But yesterday was not so much. I was just exhausted I swear, from the second I opened my eyeballs. I was like, can I just go back to sleep? Right? That doesn't match up, right? Or feeling wired but tired. To me, that's kind of like the worst when you're like, I'm so tired, but you can't shut down, whether it's go to sleep, stop that brain from doing all that thinking. That shows up as stress in your body, right? And over time, what's happening is it's tightening your vessels, right? That's your blood pressure. The tension changes the rhythm of how the blood is flowing through your body. And over time, your circulation is really suffering. So the biggest thing that you can do is have this awareness of your body. And I preach this all the time, like, be aware of what's going on. Do a little check-in with yourself in the evening. How am I doing? How am I feeling? And it's really easy for us to kind of forget to do this, or at least for me. I'm like, yesterday, like I was telling you, I had a really rough day. And it wasn't big things. It was all these little things. Like I woke up and thought I had prepared my clothes for the gym. Nope, I didn't. I didn't get socks. I didn't get my underwear. I didn't get any of that stuff. I just had a t-shirt. Like, okay, that was it. Then driving there, it was like all these detours. And then I opened a thing of my cabinet to get my tea out, and my jar fell out and broke on a carpet. It fell on a carpet like this far and broke. How could it have, like, it was just one of those days, and all these little things were happening. And at the end of the day, I was talking to my husband. I was like, it was just a really bad day and I just want to go to bed. What I should have done sometime throughout that time, when I noticed all these little things were building up, is to just take a second and do
Mhm.
that audible sigh. Take a second to just bring the tension down for myself. It doesn't mean that those little things still weren't going to happen to me, but over that day, it built up where I was just done at the end of the day. I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing anything, I'm going to bed. Like, and so remembering to be aware of your body. That was a really long story to tell you guys to try and remember to be aware of what's going on in your body, and sometimes just take the time to reset. So I've been talking all this stuff about heart health, but let me talk about the stuff that I specialize in, which are herbs. So I'm going to give you two pretty easily accessible herbs that are really supportive of your heart and your heart health, and your circulation. They're both heart health, but what we're talking about. So hibiscus, which is one of my favorite herbs. It's just delicious. But it's also really good to support healthy blood pressure. And drinking hibiscus on a regular basis has shown, like there's been clinical trials, all that good stuff, to show that it does in fact help with your blood pressure. And it happens to be delicious. It's cooling, it's tart, you can have it iced, you can have it hot. It's just a really good herb, and it's pretty easy to get. Like in most tea sections at your grocery store, there's going to be some kind of hibiscus tea. The best place that I like to go is like the Hispanic market, and they sell these big bags of, they all either call it Jamaica, sorrel, hibiscus leaves, doesn't matter. It's all the same thing, and it's ridiculously cheap. Like it's very affordable for most. So I would definitely suggest going there. And the second one is ginger. Ginger is warming, and that warmth that you feel when you have ginger is it's a circulatory stimulant. So not only is hibiscus and ginger delicious together, but even just ginger by itself. So Christina, you said you're kind of getting over a cold. Ginger tea, great to have. Lemon, honey, boom, you're good to go. It's supporting your circulation, it's helping to get it's stimulating to your immune system, not in a immunostimulant kind of way, like a echinacea or something like that, but through the circulation stimulation, that's what's going on and how it's going to help support your immune system. But it's also great just in terms for your heart and in terms of um, helping to, I don't want to say prevent, helping to, I'm just going to say it, prevent stagnation, right? You want movement. You always want movement going on. You don't want sedentary blood. You don't want sedentary lymphatic fluid, none of that. That's stuff that you don't want in your body. I don't think I'm going to, I mean, I think we already know about your lifestyle, right? I mentioned sedentary lifestyle. I mentioned walking for 10 minutes. Obviously, if you're moving your body, you're not being too still for too long, you're eating right. Those are the known things that we know about supporting your health in general, and obviously your heart, right? If you're exercising regularly, that's great. That's the first step, how you move your body and what you eat, no matter what the ailment is or what it is that you're trying to deal with, stress, your heart, your liver, your lungs, whatever it is, your diet and your body movement are the first two places that you want to start. And then, like I mentioned earlier, hibiscus and ginger is a great place to start with accessible herbs. So what does that really look like? Not to overwhelm you. And, there's all these things like, oh my God, I got to take a walk. Okay, I've got to remember to take a breaths, and I've got to drink the tea, and I've got to do all these. All of these things are small, kind of like my day yesterday. All of the little small things that were just driving me crazy. Start off with one tea ritual, right? Daily. Just drink some tea every day. I don't care what kind it is. I'm not even going to get picky about the quality because you got to start with where you are, right? Hibiscus and ginger is great for your heart, but there's a ton of other teas that are out there. Um, when you're doing that, if you decide to do the tea, take a nice pause before you have it, right? Just a quick do that sigh thing. There you go. Or, and this is not
Hello,
an
Penny.
and. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brittany. I'm trying to turn off my volume because Darcy's talking to me. Bad.
Um, so this is an and, not an or. Nope, this is an or, not an and. So the T is one. Another thing is try one of those stress interrupting habits that I was talking about. The sighs, the breathing, the moment of awareness. Those are just two things. And I would say start with one of them, or the walk, like we were talking about. I wouldn't do everything all at once because it's too overwhelming. And the way that I am, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to start all these great habits. I've got my new little habit tracker, and I'm going to start 12 things that I'm going to do. And then it's nothing. The 12 becomes 10, it becomes 6, it becomes 3, then it becomes nothing. And that's like a week later, right? So baby steps are really a good way to get going with this rather than I'm going to do everything everywhere all at once, right? Start small, one habit, one cup of tea, one breath, one thing. And the bottom line is your heart, it doesn't need intensity, it needs follow through, right? So you don't have to start with 12 new habits, you just have to start with one, right? And be consistent and follow through with that habit. And then you can start to slowly add on things because the stress, right? The certain where it impacts your cholesterol, where it impacts your circulation, where it impacts your blood pressure, all of those things, that is a buildup. So you want to build up positive habits to kind of combat that. Let's see, where else was I talking about? All right, so we talked about the stress link, we talked about the circulation link, we talked about like a heart reset, what you can start today with the teas. I talked about the two herbs. Let me tell you about kind of quality and how you can purchase your herbs really quickly. I obviously hate grocery store teas for the most part. But again, if that's where you are, go to the grocery store, get your tea. That's the best way to do it. Apothecaries, wherever you are, there's generally tends to be some kind of apothecary or herb store in larger cities. Most of you guys are in the Baltimore area, so that I know of. There's a really good one. It's actually closed because they moved. It was in Highlandtown and it moved to um, Mount Washington. It's called Charmington Holistics. Really great quality of herbs. Obviously, you can get stuff online. I try not to encourage people to purchase from Amazon, but sometimes we all fall prey to the drug of Amazon and the 2-day delivery or the overnight delivery. They generally have a couple of different brands, not just some random brand. The two brands that I recommend are called Star West Botanicals or Frontier Co-op. Those are really good quality herbs if you're looking to buy in larger and larger quantities. So quality does matter, but again, start with where you are, right? Don't go crazy trying to build your own herbal apothecary. Start with, overnight and go out and spend a bunch of money. Start with something that's accessible and easy for you to obtain and build on from there. Um, and like I said in the beginning, this is just a little appetizer. So next week I'm going to do heart work, so this is American Heart Month. And so I'm focusing on the heart this month, obviously. Next week, I'm going to build a step-by-step plan for folks with a full herbal lineup, how to get them, how to combine them, how to make simple formulas, how to make consistent routines that aren't overwhelming, in addition to some lifestyle things that are supportive as well. Just little things, again, not to overwhelm folks, but just to give you an idea that I can actually do this. I can incorporate this into my life without seeming like it's another thing that just is bogging down, my life right now and stressing me out. That's not the point of this. We don't want this to be the the challenge. We don't want you supporting your heart to be the thing that is that is giving you heart stress problems and stress. So that's what's going on next week. If you are a global community member, it's free for you. It's included in your membership. If you're not, it's $15. You can register on the website. And if you have questions, I do is like a hardcore Q&A with that one because we usually do a lot of since it's not a large group of folks, I'm individually helping people with a plan of like how can I work this into my life instead of like something that's super general, because that's really the whole goal. Um, wow, look how talking fast has worked for me today, you guys. Are there any questions? How can we get herbs from you? That's a great question. Thanks, Pam. So I do I used to have an online apothecary, but it just is too much work. But what I do, I have a custom tea form on my website. So if you're like, oh, I'd love something for heart support, I'd love something for stress, or I just want something that tastes delicious but might also help me sleep or something like that, you can fill out this form and I'll make a custom tea that's kind of specific for what you might be interested in. I ask really simple questions. Just give me a general idea of what you're looking for. Tell me what flavors you don't like. Like I don't like minty flavors, or I hate the taste of licorice, something like that. And then I send you a nice little custom tea, a little guide, all that good stuff. That's the best way to order herbs for me. Individually, I would definitely suggest going to some of these local apothecaries, or if I ever do a pop-up, again, I don't know when that will be. I don't have any planned for the next. I have workshops planned, but no pop-ups. So we'll see. But that's the best thing. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys about heart health, about herbs in general? Why isn't my chat coming up? Because I see that there's a chat there, but I don't know if it's. Oh, that was okay. Any other questions? Nothing, really? Nothing at all? Come on, somebody's got to think of something that they want to ask. It doesn't have to do with your heart.
Brittany,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about the rose and how it affects the heart?
Yes. I love rose. So I will definitely be going into rose in great detail next week, but rose is one of my favorite herbs to work with for. This is more for your emotional heart than your physical heart, right? There's some herbs that are like hibiscus, which support blood pressure. Rose is great for your emotional heart. It's like a hug in a mug. It is it's lovely and floral. It's again, like I said, it's really supportive of your emotional heart. So grieving, um, rose is great to add. A little dab will do you too. You don't need a lot because it does have a really floral flavor to it, but it's actually quite delicious. And there's so many ways that it could be used. So I don't know how familiar you guys, I've talked a lot about teas. When you start to kind of get into the weeds of herbalism, there's tinctures. Rose can make a great tincture, which is like droplet format. Like tinctures usually come in a bottle like this, and it's drops. Um, it's also a great smokable herb. Sounds crazy. That's another workshop that I do, but rose makes a wonderful addition to smokable herbs. It's very calming and again great for your emotional heart. I'm always adding rose to a lot of my blends because it's just delicious.
It's funny, somebody just gave me rose hips today.
Oh yeah. Rose hips are awesome. They're really high in vitamin C. It kind of has a little bit of a difference than in terms of how it works within your body than the rose petals. And you know, a lot of people don't even know that roses, oh, what happened to my computer? Hold on, guys. Everybody disappeared. Um, that roses are actually edible. Um, please don't go to your grocery store and get a bunch of roses and then eat them because a lot of times they're sprayed. Unfortunately, it's can be challenging, but rose hips are just absolutely delicious and great for immune support and things like that. I love dealing with rose hips. The one that somebody gave you, were they whole or were they crushed?
They looked like they were whole.
Okay.
Um, yeah, do I just put like one or two in with my tea, or how do I use that?
Okay, so I'm gonna get a little geeky with you. Um, and then I will kind of make it more accessible. So they're really hard. The best way to do it is to break it up and to with a mortar and pestle or something like that. But sometimes people don't have time for that. So the next thing I would say is um is what's called a decoction, which is where you simmer them. And then, so if you were going to use it, let's say with, I don't know, a lemon balm tea, let's just say you have a bag of lemon balm tea. I would put water on the stove, simmer, put your rose hips in, simmer it for about 15 minutes, turn off the heat. You should have your top on it too. Turn off the heat, put your lemon balm or whatever ever herb you have in there, put the top on, let that steep for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you've got a great tea. But also, who has time to do all of that? So, if you're just going to put it in your with your tea, the longer you're able to let it steep, the more and the better it is. And the reason for that is because it's hard, right? And so what has to happen is it has to have time to extract, usually heat, right? The more heat that's applied to it, the more that you're going to be able to extract out of that hard outer shell of the rose hip and get all the good stuff into your water so that you can actually ingest it. Does that make sense? Did that break it
Yeah, thank
down?
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love rose hips. They're fun to work with. Absolutely.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Um, excuse me. Sometimes, ugh, I hate this. I'm also recovering from a cold. I have currently, hold on, this is the perimenopausal brain. I
Understand?
currently have a tea blend, like an adaptogen blend, like lemon balm and tulsi.
Mm-hmm.
And we added moringa
Mm-hmm.
just for nutrients, which you will be happy to know the taste is not bothering me.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. It might just be like the amount of each that's in it. Like sometimes
Yeah.
moringa is like not overpowering. But so what I was gonna ask is like, does it are they incompatible with like if I were to add a hibiscus to it? Or like everybody would be fine if they are in the same cup together.
everybody would be fine with those ones that you listed. When you have a tea blend that the more herbs that you put in them, that
Mhm.
means the less of that particular herb is in that blend, right? There's only so much that you're going to have in your tablespoon. It usually should be a tablespoon, not a
Mhm.
teaspoon. Most people think it's a teaspoon, and that's for your green and black and white teas. That's a teaspoon. Herbal teas, it should usually be a little bit more. Um, and so if you only have a tablespoon, but you have 10 different herbs, how
Yeah.
much of each of those herbs are you really getting, right? So it's not so much that they won't play well together. It's how much of each herb are you actually getting to do what you want it to do, right?
Mm.
So that's the thing to think about. And how you're extracting them, right? So if you're letting it steep for 15 minutes, that's great for hibiscus because it's a flower, right?
Mm.
Or the calyx or whatever it's however you pronounce it. I'm really bad at pronouncing everything. So please don't take what I'm saying and go out into the world and be like, well, this herbalist said it this way. I say everything wrong. Um, but it's really soft and so it extracts really easily, right? If you've ever seen, you put your hibiscus, whether it's a tea bag or loose, and it immediately turns red
Mm.
versus something like, so that those are the anthocyanins extracting into the water. This is all the good stuff and it happens pretty quickly versus moringa, which you were saying, what you're using for the nutrient. Now, these are leaves, so it's still
Mm.
extracting pretty quickly, but if you're using it for the nutrients, the longer you have it extracting, the better. But if you have the hibiscus and the moringa at the same time, it's not going to cause a problem, but it's going to be really hibiscusy flavor, which might be what you want, right? Because then you
I like
won't
sweet
taste the
stuff.
moringa. You're only going to taste the hibiscus.
Yeah.
So hibiscus is really strong in that way.
It is. It doesn't take very much for it to like
It really doesn't. It's
so if
amazing.
I wanted to, because right now I've been using it for like it's been really good for like a winding down, like if I have it in the evening.
Hmm.
I usually have hibiscus in the morning though, if I have it like in the morning or the afternoon. Um,
Hibiscus. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna ask, like, does that would either of the what's my question? Jeez.
When
Um,
should you have it? When should you
does
have
it like when if I'm if my reason for incorporating hibiscus into one of my already existing teas is to contribute to circulation, right? So I'm using the lemon balm and the tulsi to like bring down
it?
stress at the end of the day. I'm sneaking in the moringa because my diet is what it is. Um, and if my intention with introducing hibiscus is to support my blood pressure, does it matter to take it later in the day, like in the evening or in the morning?
It doesn't, and it's not for hibiscus because it's not a stimulating herb in the sense that it's going to keep you up. So what's probably really helping with that tea to calm you is that lemon balm. Lemon balm is great and calming. Tulsi is more long term in terms of calming. It helps with like stress reduction because it is an adaptogen. That's, over long term. But what you might also want to consider is just brewing yourself some hibiscus tea, like a nice big jar of it, putting it in your refrigerator and having it whenever you want and having the
Mm.
other tea before you go to bed. That, I mean,
Okay.
it's not going to matter if you add it, excuse me, if you add it to your tea, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, but I could
It's
have it
probably
like
gonna,
with my lunch beverage.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Okay.
Right. So I have this big sucker that this is my Tulsi that
Mm.
I just make. This is my second one of these today. This is the only way that I will drink water. Like I hate the taste of water. I literally just posted about that earlier today. I hate the taste of water. So it has to be through tea. So that is like the only way that you're gonna catch me drinking. Like when people see me drinking water, they're like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you drinking water?"
Are you okay?
Yeah, exactly. So, you might want to do that with your hibiscus, do one of hibiscus and do one of your other one and then call it a day. And that's another really quick thing that I would say is another thing to kind of make it easy and a ritual for you guys is make a big pitcher or whatever your container is, a big teapot or whatever, of whatever tea it is. Hibiscus is a great one. Hibiscus and ginger is great, or your lemon balm. And keep it in the refrigerator and you can just warm it up if you want it warm or have it cool is fine. Um,
Mm.
but that way you won't have to, if you're making this a tea ritual, sometimes you don't want to have to think about it, right? You just want to heat it up and be done with it and go to bed or get started on your work or whatever. So sometimes if you make a larger quantities and then you can use that for a couple of days, that might be the thing that changes for you that makes it easier to make it a habit for you rather than having to make it fresh. Sometimes the actual action of doing that every day is nice and calming and soothing and da da da. But for some folks, it's like, I just need to get out the door. Let me grab this thing from the refrigerator that I made a couple days ago.
Well, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Any other questions? Excellent. We're going to wrap that up. I'm going to go have my spaghetti and I'm going to get my PJs on to take my shower, get my PJs on. I hope that this was really informative to you guys. I hope to see some of you guys next week for heart work, where we'll dive into it a little bit deeper and talk about specific methods that will help you guys. And I do these every month. Next month, the topic is hormonal regulation. So that might be interesting. We'll talk everything with perimenopausal brain, which is definitely something that I'm suffering from, and all that good stuff. So I'll be posting about that on my Instagram. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, that's why I do the majority of my talk. I hope that when you guys signed up, you put select marketing. You do not have to worry about getting regular emails from me. I'm not very good at it. So I won't be spamming you 3 emails a week or something like that. At best, it's a month, once a month. I'm trying to do it to get to where I do it twice a month, but I'm not doing more than that because nobody likes receiving emails every 5 seconds. It drives me bonkers. So that will not be me. But I'll list all that stuff in the emails too. So thank you guys so much for coming. Oh, IG handle, thank you. It's eudaimonia herbs. Let me in it because it is how you spell it. It's challenging sometimes. So in the email that I sent you guys, it should have a link to it in there, but it also has how you spell it. So it's just eudaimonia.herbs. Eudaimonia means to flourish, by the way. It kind of means to flourish in your situation, that whatever you're in. And like I like to say is be well in eudaimonia. So to flourish in life, that's all we want to do, is just to flourish and do well and all those good things. So it's a Greek word. So it was one that I picked and I love, but it is really difficult when people are like, how do you spell it? And how do you say eudaimonia? Like, so I set myself up for that one. So anyways, thank you guys so much. I hope to see you guys again, and good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Bye-bye.